and welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today because this is going to be so exciting. We're talking about how I'm putting quotations, we do helps you build learning progress. Now, have you ever been in the place, and I know you have, at some point where you tell your kids to go clean up their rooms, and they go in there, and 20 minutes later you walk in and you're like, what have you done? Why is it still a disaster? What is happening here? And you realize that they're just sitting there staring. And you're like, I don't understand. I told you come in here, clean up your room, and you're just sitting there or standing there staring. What is going on?" Or maybe they're reading a book, or maybe they're playing with their toys and nothing is going on. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't tell you to play. I told you to do what? Right. I told you to clean up your stuff. And now the frustration is building because you've been here before, and they're getting frustrated because they're getting yelled at again. And let's face it, maybe there's some raised voices. I mean, I've been there. And then you end up either just leaving it, or you you lock them in their room. I'm just joking. You don't lock them in their room, but maybe you do. And you say, "You can't leave here until you clean up your room." And it's still forever, like 2 hours later, they're still not cleaning up their room. And this goes on and on. This is a familiar situation. This can happen in learning, and when they're doing their homeschool studies, when they're doing anything else, chores, whatever the case, they are going to be in the situation. I'm talking specifically about young kids, but I'm also talking about older kids too, because sometimes this happens. And I'm going to share with you how that happens and how to get out of it, how to prevent it from happening. And so we all live a more peaceful, progress, making progress life. I don't know how you say that. Make progressive, making progress, progression. Anywho, I was an English teacher. Don't you know it? Anyways, so what I want to start out with today is that when you're in that situation, what happens is you end up with negative results always, don't you? When you're in that situation where you're staring at your kids and you're frustrated, and then they're frustrated and they haven't done what you've asked them to do independently. Everyone's frustrated. Negative results always. So you're going to get lower confidence level for them. Maybe they're like, "Man, maybe I can't do this. I don't know why I can't do it. What's wrong with me?" Frustration for you. What's wrong with these kids? Why can't they clean up their room? Right? What's wrong with them? And you're going to get definitely a strained relationship. Everybody's stressed, tensions are high, and you're going to ultimately lower love of learning. No matter what, you're going to ultimately lower love of learning, and you don't have peace, which is what we all want. We need a peaceful home. It's very, very important. So, I've done this with my son. I've done this over and over again. I remember one time when he was 3, so he's a 3-year-old. He's sitting on the kitchen floor. He dumped out his entire bucket of play food because, as we know, kids they don't take one thing out of the box. They don't dig around and pick one thing out until they're older. When they're 3, psh, dump the whole thing out, right? That's what happens. And so he had done that, and he was sitting on the floor, he was playing, and after he was done playing, I told him, "Okay, it's time to clean up. You need to clean up your toys and put them back in the bucket." And he heard me. He knows how to clean up because he knows how to clean up. I'm putting that in quotations because we've done it lots of times before. I know he's capable of doing it because we've done it lots of times before together. And he should be able to do it on his own. He's I know you already see this fallacy. And he starts to get up after a bit, and he doesn't put anything away. I even show him how to do it. Like, I take one, I put it in there. I'm like, "This is how you do it. Take it. Do it." And he is not doing it. And then he just sits there and he starts to get up, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Oh, contraire, mon frere. Sit down. We're putting our toys away before we move on to anything else." He's 3, right? Only child yet. That's not First child, that's what happens, right? And so then my mom comes by and he's sitting there with his toys just kind of rolling around on the floor. And she's like, "What is he doing?" And I said, "Well, he's supposed to clean up his toys. I asked him to, and he's not moving from there until he cleans up his toys." And she looks at me with this look. She didn't say anything, but she looks at me with it. That wouldn't have gone well, I think. But she looks at me with this look like, "Mm, okay." And so I am thinking she's just being a grandma, right? She's just being like a overprotective grandma. And so I think he must have sat there for over 20 minutes and maybe even longer. I got frustrated, he was frustrated, and I think we did end up cleaning it up together. After all of that, right? But what did I do in the meantime? There's all this tension, there's all this stress. Maybe he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Well, I've made that mistake over and over again with varying stages for all kinds of things, even with studies. And I'm going to share about that with you in a minute here. But yes, I understand it's it could be defiance. And with an older kid, even with a younger kid, it could be defiance for sure. It could be executive functioning skills or lack thereof. We know that sometimes kids don't have that part of their brain that's developed yet where they can see, okay, first I need to do this, then I need to do that. A very, very wise and experienced homeschool mama told me years and years later that when you tell your child to go into their messy room and clean it up, they don't see, oh, this needs to go here and this needs to go there. When they're really young and they don't have those executive functioning skills, they see a messy room. They don't see the parts of it and know which order to do things in. It just doesn't compute. And knowing that would have saved me a lot of stress. Not that I didn't make any more future mistakes, but it would have saved me a lot of stress if I'd have known that. As a parent, if it's just defiance, you can tell if it's just executive functioning skills. And sometimes they're not ready for the skill. And that's what I mean about the executive functioning skills, but I'm also talking about learning. I'm also talking about math and spelling and science and writing. Those things also apply to this situation because they might not be ready for that skill yet. Does that make sense? Because this is a mistake I made lots of times too. And if you find yourself in this place, you're like, man, I have explained this 16 different ways from Sunday. We're all frustrated. They're frustrated. And I don't know what to do. And we're in this place where we're stuck. We need to chat. You need to contact me. There's always my contact information below wherever you're watching or listening to this, and you can contact me. We can figure it out what is really behind all that and if they're really ready for the skill or not. And one of the ways to tell is if there's frustration happening. There's frustration happening a lot of times. It is because they're not ready for the skill. Maybe it's thinking the educational shoulding that I talk about all the time. If you don't know what that is, go listen to episode number 6 in the podcast. But it is basically the idea that they should be somewhere. There's either shoulding happening on our end or shoulding happening on their end or both, right? And the readiness might not be there. Okay. So, but there's a good news. You ready for the good news? Because you can get out of this situation. You can prevent this situation from happening. And so that's what I want to tell you today. I want to tell you how to first prevent it because prevention is always the best medicine, right? So, prevention first means we do. We do. We do is the preventative. So, what does we do mean? We do means we do it together, just like it says. It's family work. It's doing things with your child. It's it's teaching them through example and showing them how to do it and doing it with them. I know I'm saying this over and over again, but really, this is important because this helps build confidence. This helps build the skills of knowing what to do. And it also builds the relationship. All the things that we had frustration with when we were expecting them to do it on their own and they weren't ready. You see how that works? It's kind of crazy. So when my son was ready for, he was doing some deep level study and he was older. Now he was probably about 13, I would say 13. And we were doing a deep study on some literature and some other English topics and some books we were reading. It was basically, we were part of a very, very high level book club that had an online discussion. I knew he was ready for the reading the books part and the discussion, but not the writing part. Because guess what? I had messed it up and I put him in a place where he was not ready for writing yet. And I pushed him when he wasn't ready. And he's also a perfectionist, which that comes into play too. Personality style has a lot to do with this as well. But it's not an excuse, just a place for understanding where they're coming from. And so what I did was I ended up lowering his love of learning. I ended up actually having him hate writing for a really long time. And I knew that asking him to write, plus he also wasn't very good at typing and it was an online discussion. So he was still working on typing still. So I was like, he's never going to do this online discussion thing very well. It's going to be frustrating and it's going to be a bad experience. So what I did was we did it together. We read the books together, we discussed together, and we did the online discussion together. And yeah, it was a little more work, but oh, every single time we sat down, the discussions we would have, oh, the depth, the beauty, where we got to talk about different levels of human nature and politics and government, history and art and decision making and all kinds of things. It was amazing. We got to see what other kids said and we got to talk about what their perspectives were and relate it to the book. And then we got to talk about what we believe and then formulate that into a response or a post and put it in the online discussion. And then we got to talk about how do we actually formulate a response. What do we say first? What do we say next? How do we say things? It got to where he was calling me his secretary and I was just typing for him. And we talk about it too. It was so incredible. Honestly, one of the best learning experiences I've had as an adult and him as well. And what did that teach him? It gave him confidence that he could think about things because writing actually has a lot of skills in it. People don't realize that. But it taught him how to think about things, taught him how to formulate a response. It taught him how to say things in a way where we're complimenting other people first and relating to other people without just saying, "Well, I think this." Right? And saying things in a way that's relatable and actually contributing positively to a discussion, right? And so especially when we're on a typing discussion board instead of just like talking because people can't see our faces and our body language. Does that make sense? So I did this with him for a while. I mean a while. And then he started doing it on his own. And I'll share with you how that development happens, that transition from we do to independent. We talk a lot about that in the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Academy. So if you want to know more about that, contact me, let me know. We can talk about it more. But I don't have time to share about that today. What I want to just share with you is the we do part and why that's important for preventing the struggle from even happening. If we do the we do first, we prevent the struggle from even happening. But guess what? If you're already there, like I was with the writing, you need to do a love of learning reset. I've had to do it in so many places. so many places with learning, with things not learning, but we've had to do a love of learning reset. And that is my signature way, and basically what I ended up doing without even knowing it, to retrain the brain, build confidence, and give new experiences that are positive. And then we intentionally move towards independence. We move towards creating the culture back, the relationships back, the routines back, the systems back, so that we're all on the same page again. And we can move forward in a pro- peaceful, joyful progress. Does that make sense? So, love of learning reset is for you when you're already there. But if you're not there yet, and for the future, we do is preventative. It's very, very important. So make sure that when you come across a new skill or you're getting a little frustrated and you're like, why am I frustrated? Why are they not doing this? How about a we do? How about a we do? And then contact me. We can do a love of learning reset if we need to move past that, or there's something else going on. If you have defiance happening, you think there's something else where there's like, I'm not sure. It's just we need a we do. And at some point, yeah, they need to move out of that. We do. They need to be independent. So if things are feeling a little funky, then let's chat, because we don't want you to be in that place. The longer you're in there, the lower love of learning is happening. And also, everybody's more frustrated and everybody's more stressed, and relationships break down. That's what I call the homeschool breakdown trap. So that's what we want to avoid altogether. But if we're there, contact me. We get a love of learning reset and we'll get you back in the right place. But we do first is a great way to really make sure that you're preventing a lot of frustration, stress, and low love of learning. You guys, it's been so fun, and I hope you got a lot out today. If you did resonate with anything today, if you haven't gone over to Apple Podcasts and give me a shout out there, give me a review and put a little comment. If you haven't gone to YouTube and done a comment or leave a like and a follow me over there, then please do, because this really helps me help more people see this. And the more people that see this, the more we can help everybody not lower love of learning in their homes and get frustrated. I am all about that. And so if that resonates with you, and if something you have a question or something, please contact me, put a little comment, put something in Spotify, in YouTube, or contact me on social, and I'm always happy to help. I hope you have a great Halloween, because Halloween's tomorrow. Happy Halloween, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.